Right, we are live. Just give it a couple of minutes for people to join in. Hi, Mittel. Hi, Dan. Can you see the attendees, Sam, or is it just me?
Yeah, I'm just seeing him now, and I was about to say I
Lovely.
love the fact that Milton's got his note taker to come in.
Yeah, I love that. In fact, funnily enough, someone had their note taker I need to speak to, and a member of my Accounts Wealth Academy had their note taker come into the live Q&A yesterday, and it was what's the one? Otter.
Otter, Otter, right? Yeah,
So hey.
yeah.
Hi, Jazz.
Yeah. Fun enough,
Yeah,
that's what I'll be covering in this month's webinar is talking about the different note takers and obviously what Luke was saying yesterday about the which ones are acceptable or the ones we would recommend. But yeah, definitely have a chat about Otter. Although Fireflies was the top recommended one, so that was good stuff.
yeah. Okay, cool. So we're just going to chat for about 30 minutes, or we'll see how we go, but sort of max 30 minutes just about kind of how we've got into AI and how we've been using it um, in Smooth AI, in Smooth Accounting, how we've been using AI, and any questions, guys, obviously just pop them in the chat box and we will answer them. So yeah, Sam, do you want to kick off and kind of explain about how we, because it was me and you, wasn't it, kind of originally talking about how we're going to use AI in Smooth Accounting. And
Yeah. And we kind of came at it from a point where um, we had been using it independently of one another, and we kind of said, "Oh, I've been doing this," and then the other one said, "Oh, yeah, I've been doing it as well."
yeah.
Um, so it was really exciting to see, like, to have someone to talk to about it because it can be quite daunting when you start.
Mhm.
Um, and I, for one, was kind of like dabbling and doing what you hear a lot of people doing. I was using it like Google, to be completely honest. So my mate said, "Oh, I'm doing it for this, I'm doing it for that." And I was just testing it out, which was maybe not. It was a good way to like understand how it works, but I wasn't getting any benefit out of it.
Mhm.
For example, me and my wife used it the other day to do a little quiz on countries of the world, so it can do fun stuff as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that was good. And then yeah, after that chat, we kind of like started to look at it in a bit more detail. And once I got past the Google phase, I first used it to try and do some complex calculations on a capital gain piece of work. So obviously cleaned out the data. As Luke was mentioning on his data protection webinar yesterday, you can put personal data in, but you need to take, well, you can't put personal data in, but you can aggregate it, was the term he used, and sort of put like very sort of raw data in. So you've got like buy sell was what I had and the amounts, but no other descriptors. And I was like, oh, I don't want to go through hundreds of lines. I'm going to get it. I'm going to get it to do it for me. And I tried 3.5, and that didn't work. So I went and got them paid for 4. And I was like, oh, this is
Just to,
working.
not to
Great.
interrupt, but you're talking about ChatGPT.
Yes,
For
chat
anyone
GPT.
listening, for anyone listening after
Sorry.
watches the
Um,
recording of this, we're talking about ChatGPT for any like AI newbies.
yeah, 100%. So that's the one I was using. And it was I got really excited by it the first time I used it. And I remember messaging you because I was quite late at night going, I love AI, I love Chat GPT, this is brilliant. And if I'm completely honest, I never told you, but about 10 minutes later, I found a big error in it when I was reviewing it, as you should, and had to redo it manually anyway. So I got really excited by it and trying to use it, but it just showed me that it definitely has its limitations.
Mm, yeah, it does for sure. And like, I think when most people think about AI, they do just think about ChatGPT. Like that's kind of the oracle of AI.
I think it's got so much potential, and it's the one that hits social media, I think.
Mhm.
And there's so many, like if it gets big on social media, it will get some traction.
Yeah, for sure.
Because if you look at sort of articles now, GPT is still up there, but it's been overtaken by some of the other chatbots out there, and they've got a
Yeah.
whole load of metrics to decide which is the best one. And um, it they the chart regularly changes because they're always releasing updates.
Mm.
But there's an argument that some of the other ones are better. You've got Gemini with Google, which has performed well at different things, although that did have a bit of a wobble with what they called a woke culture, where it was trying to sort of recreate historical images of like the founding
Oh,
fathers,
right.
and it wasn't historically accurate. So they're going, maybe they've gone to, it was too biased,
Right.
um, which is obviously a bit of a risk if you're trying to deal with facts as well. So it's been really
Yeah.
interesting to see what people have found wrong with it, because naturally people are stress testing it to
Yeah.
sort of its limits, which has been something that we really need to consider, I guess.
Mm. I'm,
Yeah,
I'm kind of, I mean, I don't use it like obviously like to the extent that you do, and I know you're implementing it in smooth accounting, which is amazing. But like my use of, I pretty much use ChatGPT like most days, because I was thinking about this earlier, and I was thinking like if someone said to me like, "How are you using AI?" I'd be like, "I know we are using it loads," but I just like, what am I doing? But I'm like, I use it most days. So like, I was doing a client needs a like an investor deck prepared for their company, and I just was like, right, into Chat GPT, give me like a layout of an investor deck of like all the slides, what they should have on each slide and kind of thing. Got it. Then plugged each one of them back into GPT and like, right, help me write kind of, this is the company, this is what it's about, help me write each page. Done it. Like, so something that would have taken like a day, like it's a really in-depth, long-winded presentation, like document. And, within like an hour, you can have the whole entire thing done, looks amazing, then just, ping it over to my graphic designer, get it whizzed up into a
yeah,
really nice glossy PDF. And I'm like, wow, like it's things like that it just blows my mind that you can just use GPT, because I'm not great with
completely agree.
words. So I think that's for me, that's where it really comes into play.
Yeah, and I think that's really important. Is like, as I mentioned, I use it for Google to start with. I didn't really know what I was doing, and then I tried in my first sort of foray into business to try and get us to do my technical job. And it's very apparent to me now that it's not there yet.
No.
And that would be partly down to my ability to use it.
Mm.
But what I've done since then is identify things that I either don't like doing or that I do repetitively.
Mm.
And one of the examples we use is the newsletter for smooth accounting. We did
Yes.
that yesterday, sent it out today. And the team said to me, like, right, here are the ideas. I generated it. And then we obviously read through it, tweaked it, added a bit. But that process was half an hour in total, whereas before it might take an hour or two to research the content, get it all right, and starting that is where people struggle.
Mm.
And if there's things that you are finding like you should have the motivation to do, maybe because you don't like interest is so important in anything. So if you don't
Yeah.
have the interest to do it, and you think, oh, but I have to do it, it's the perfect use case, I think.
Mm.
And it does a brilliant job. Like say an investor deck, that's I would not. I'm sure everyone like you can produce it if you put the time in, as you say, but I wouldn't know where to start with that.
And that's the thing,
Thinking,
it's
what am
knowing
I
where to
doing?
start. Yeah, that's what I'm finding. Like, I think you're exactly right. You've hit the nail on the head. It's not, I don't think it's replacing, we're certainly not replacing the things that we're doing from a technical perspective. But what it is doing is that bit where you like go, I'm just putting that off because I can't even, like sometimes I write an email marketing sequence. Again, I'm not great with words, so I'm not a copywriter to sit and write that kind of stuff. But to go to ChatGPT, like I basically want a 5-part email sequence to go out on these dates about, for example, like Smooth AI, you know, we used it for the emails initially about the wait list and people joining when we open the doors. I don't just use what ChatGPT prepares, but it saves so much time when you go, just give me an outline, give me I can't
Yeah,
even think how to start these emails, like just give me an outline, give me an idea, and then I'm like, oh yes, and then I can just put my little own kind of tweaks on it, and then that's it, done, you know.
yeah, and I'm the same. Like I, um, as you know, I'm not great on social media. Like, and I'm not a huge fan of it, but it's a super important tool. So I spent like
Love how
a
you got that in there.
yeah,
But it's a super important tool. Just like,
it's great for business.
yeah, it's great
But
with this.
back end of last month, I started using it to create my LinkedIn posts.
Mm.
and just give me ideas, because I am devoid of ideas in that scenario. I'm like, why does anyone want to read what I put? But
Yeah.
I used it. It did get good engagement. Wrote it in a way that I couldn't do because I'm far too direct and
Mm.
factual about things, which it doesn't suit social media. You need a bit more of a story approach, it would seem.
Yeah.
And I used it for that, and it got really good engagement. Got more connections, um, and it wasn't too stressful having to do it that way, because it's just something that I'm not very good at, but I can feed it information about the way I want it to, what the result I want it to be.
Yes.
That was really good, and it made me a little bit more engaged in doing it, which has
Yeah.
worked out really well. So, and as you say, I used it for some of the emails for Smooth AI just last week, because I'm
Yeah.
thinking, like, I don't know how to phrase this. I want it
Yeah.
to come across in the right way, and I tend to use like a mix of different tools to achieve the end result.
Yes.
So I'll get ChatGPT to generate the initial, and then I use Grammarly to sort of like make sure it's getting the right tone, because obviously
Yeah.
you can set what the parameters are, which I
Yes.
find incredibly useful. So
In
yeah, I've
Grammarly,
enjoyed it.
you set the parameters, you mean?
Yeah, so in Grammarly, in the pro version, every time you start a new document, it asks you five
Yeah.
questions about what
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
want
It
it
does.
to do. So that's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's so good. So like for people that are listening, actually, interestingly, for you guys that are on this live listening, are you using AI kind of most days? And what are you using it for? I'd be really interested if you can put it in the chat box to let us know kind of what you're using it for. The first webinar that went out this month, this was month 1 for Smooth AI for all our members. And the first webinar that Sam did was all about ChatGPT, kind of how to get started with it, how to use it, and kind of, did you do Teams versus GPT as well? Or is that the next one?
No, so we did Teams within it
Yeah.
as one of the options, which is one we would probably suggest from a data protection point of view. And I know you and I obviously have a Teams one for Smooth Accounting, where we can share different
Yes.
custom GPTs, which is really useful actually, especially
Yeah,
coming
yeah.
into the 11D season.
Yes, definitely. And for May, the next webinar is going to be on what?
So we're going to be looking at AI note takers.
Yeah.
And we want to look at the ones we're going to look at 3 that are available, and that's going to be Otter, Read AI, and Fireflies.
Yeah.
I'm going to go through these. That is probably how I use AI the most. I do all of our discovery calls, and in all of my discovery calls and all of my customer calls, it's always on.
Yeah, same.
And it's helped me get back to where we were pre-pandemic, actually,
Yes.
where you can be more engaged and you're not sitting there taking notes, and it feels a bit more personable, which is
100%. Yeah.
incredible. And that's exactly how I think AI should be used, is being able to use technology to be more personable.
Yes, 100%. And we've said this before, like AI is not, in my opinion, not going to replace like accountants or business owners, for example. I think what it's going to do is, or what it should be used for, is to enhance the customer service element. It should be used to make sure that your people are delivering the best personal touch to customers possible, because everything behind that is being done as efficiently using AI as possible. So that's kind of where we're at with Smooth Accounting, is what we're trying to do is use it behind the scenes so that our team are not wasting time doing mundane, repetitive, boring tasks, and they're actually spending their time looking after our customers.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think Jazz and Anita have just sort of hit the nail on the head
Yes.
there, where daily using it to compose email responses. I think that's a really good use, because so many times you get stuck, and I think people second guess themselves. And you think, oh, I'm not sure where to start. And that's a really interesting case use. Can I just check, Jazz, what system do you use, if you don't mind telling us, to compose those email responses? Because I know there's a
Yeah.
few out there, and it will vary depending on what email platform you're on.
Yeah, I'd be interested in that. And then Mitchell has said before joining, I was really worried about data protection. After being your first video, I switched off the training option and feel more comfortable to use it much more. That's great. That's so good that we've been able to, via Smooth AI, we've been able to help someone kind of feel more comfortable using it and in a safe way. And that was the whole point of Smooth AI. Like there's loads of free learning out there, memberships out there, but a lot of them are associated with a product or are not considering the data protection aspect. Whereas for us, because we have Luke on board, who is our data protection expert, that's what he literally does for a living, we're able to help people use AI safely. And that's just so, so, so important.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. And what I think is really important now is that everyone's sort of been introduced to Luke yesterday,
Yeah.
formally said that his webinar will be uploaded to the website this week. But I would definitely encourage, if you have concerns in that area, drop us a message on Facebook, drop us an email. We can speak to Luke about those for you and get back to you, because I think it's such a key area, and it's an area that is really daunting to
So
the amount of
daunting.
times Luke mentioned yesterday that I'll go, Luke, I've got this great idea, I want to use this, and he's like, slow down.
Hang on a second. Yeah, he
He's
is. He's
literally
literally
doing it
just
a
like,
certain way.
yeah, he is.
But we obviously have that resource, and then we can collaborate as a community and get these questions to Luke, and so we can all move forward and it work.
Yeah. Did you manage to watch Luke's live webinar yesterday, Mitchell, on data protection, or did you just see Sam's first one on GPT? I'm just curious. If you haven't seen Luke's, by the way, his live one yesterday, like Sam said, that will be uploaded this week, so you'll be able to watch the catch up. Oh, Jazz has just replied, just a preset parameters of our practice and specified style of writing, very basic, not moved to GPTs or plugins as yet, just so powerful as it is on free version. But once team fully on board, we will move forward together.
I love that. And
Yeah.
on the team element, I don't know if you found this or anyone else watching has found it, but I felt there was a bit of a fear when we first even mentioned AI, and not a fear of using it as such, but a fear it's going to replace people.
Yes.
And I think a lot of people are going to have to educate their teams and maybe even educate their clients to understand that it's not there to replace them. It's there to make everyone's life better. You can upskill, you can spend, like, I feel you have two options. You can either way, you're going to use it to save time on mundane or repetitive tasks. That is going to happen. And if you use it for that, you have two options, depending on your level. Absolutely big fear culture.
Yeah.
So I think you can use it to upskill, which is what I would use it for. You can spend that extra time you've got to learn new skills. And the more junior you are, the more pertinent that's going to be. You will have loads more time where you can then move away from repetitive things. Dex, for example, has already given that fantastic option to a lot of junior member staff where you're not typing out receipts if you're an accountant. Or if the other option is, if you're happy with where you are, and I'm all for this, if this is what you want to do, just use it to do your job and make your life easier. Like that is a short-term option. I think longer term you do need to upskill. There is that element, because it will not replace anyone's job, but if in 5 years you haven't adopted it, your business will be so far behind everyone else that you will struggle. So I think getting the staff on board,
Yes.
colleagues on board, is one of the most crucial things in the next 6 to 12 months, because it's still in its infancy, but
100%.
everyone was
And
part of
getting
the
your staff to sign the AI usage policy that we gave to our Smooth AI members for free is super important. I'm sure most of you have got your staff handbooks and things like that, but this is an add-on. This is a new thing, and you need to make sure that you're protecting yourself as a business and that your staff understand the rules around using it rather than just using it willy-nilly and like, I don't know. It can be is it no, I don't want to say it can be scary, but it's important. It's really important that along with the data kind of protection and safety side, that your team understand that side of it.
Yeah, I think you saying it's scary is reasonable, because I think the unknown is scary. If you
Yes.
are armed with facts, there's no reason it can't be embraced.
Yes.
And it's our job to give people those facts so then they can pass it on to their team. And we'll be uploading all of the slide decks for all of the webinars that we do as well, because I appreciate your team may not always have the time to watch the webinars, but if you can give them the slide deck, just give them a gist as well, that might be a way just to start introducing them to it. And I love that Jazz said, like, his team have picked up the phone more, and clients want value add, and they want to be spoken to, which is what I find all the time as well. Like the customer relationship has shifted in every industry now, and they want something different to what they did 5 years ago.
Yeah. And customer service is the most important thing really for all businesses. You know, it's what sets you apart, it's what enables you to command decent fees for what you do. And, you know, it really affects your bottom line. I think customer service, you know, we've already been been really pro that in smooth accounting. The customer service comes before everything, you know, and it absolutely does. And I want my team focusing on that and not focusing on things that they absolutely don't need to be doing it, that are a total waste of their time, you know. So yeah, I don't think I don't see it replacing businesses. I see any businesses that don't jump on board the AI bandwagon are gonna struggle, because so rather than AI replacing businesses, I think it's going to enhance businesses. I really do. And just on that point, with smooth accounting, because that's kind of where we've been trialing AI bits and pieces. What would you say are like the most important uses we currently have for AI within smooth accounting?
So I would say the top one by far is the note taker, and that for me is the
Read
biggest.
AI.
Read AI is the one we're using, and
Yeah.
that has allowed me to be far more engaged in every conversation that I'm having. Gives me an action list afterwards, and I feel like it's almost nothing has changed, but everything's changed in that
Yeah.
scenario. Like I get the exact same output, but I feel like I can actually have a really good conversation. And it's also a really good conversation starter, because most people go, "Oh, what Sam's note taker?" And we'll have a chat
Yeah.
about it
Yeah.
quickly,
Yeah.
which is brilliant.
Same. Yeah.
So that for me is number one. And then we've started using it to reduce the repetitive mundane tasks. So our client managers produce the newsletters every month, and I'll be completely honest, I didn't like doing it when I did it, and the team don't like doing it now, because we're very good at numbers, but not many of us are very wordy. So whilst it's really important, people struggle with that. So
Yeah.
that is where we are, and we're looking at starting sort of implementing it. Um,
I started using Otter. Presumably, this webinar is AI note taking. Yes, our one is all our Zooms are. But with Otter, we have some information coming out in our next webinar. So make sure you watch the May webinar, which is all about note takers, because we have not some concerns around Otter, but we're going to discuss the three different kind of
the three big ones,
the three
and
big
yeah,
ones. Yeah, Otter being one of them.
yeah, Otter. We'll talk about data protection on each of Fireflies, Otter, and Read AI,
And you
among
can
other
make your own
things, because they've all
decision.
got different elements without going into too much. But yeah, like whatever you're using now, like it is a really good way of doing it. Um, and the other one, interestingly, is that I've started using across the team is Loom. So we were using Loom anyway.
Yeah.
Loom AI comes in, and what a lot of people, this is where they have a different fear, and you're using AI to go for that fear. So a lot of the team hate being recorded. Like they hate being on video. They don't want to do it. And I, being the horrible boss that I am, make them do it because it's good practice. And a lot of them sort of worry they're going to stumble over their words. They're going to sound silly. Loom AI is brilliant, actually, and I use it for my webinar this month just gone, because it takes out your filler words. So if you're going and stumbling a little bit, it takes them out
So good.
automatically. It takes out your silences, and also, Jazz mentioned there, transcript. It has a transcript of the entire video, and you can edit the video by the transcript. So you just go in, and if you said something that you think sounds a bit silly at the end, you just delete it, and it cuts that bit of the video out.
So good. It's
And
so
then
good. I
the
love
team are
it.
now going, I'm going to make more videos, and we're creating a load, saving loads of meetings. I think I did one the other day on something that was quite basic, spent about 30 seconds doing it. And after I asked the person I'd done, about four other people went, "Oh, I didn't know how to do that either." So I taught five people in a 30-second video, done. So that was brilliant.
Oh, that's so, so good. So just as we're getting towards kind of the end of this first of our podcasts, do you guys have any questions that you want to ask Sam or I before we kind of wrap it up? We'll be doing these every month, and it'll be really good because obviously as time goes on, we'll have more and more bits and pieces to discuss and how we're using it for our business, as well as, you know, what's coming out in the webinars for Smooth AI. Just give it a
And again,
second. No, people
anyone that's
can't.
watching on the recording as well, definitely post in the Facebook group, and we'll try and answer in there as well, because I appreciate not everyone can watch these live, so we definitely
Yeah,
want to be chatting to people and be answering any questions you have.
yeah, for sure. Oh, brilliant. Thank you. You're very welcome. And thanks for attending the live. It's always useful to be able to sort of speak to people that are actually watching as we're saying stuff. And I think we're planning on moving to Slack anyway, aren't we, off of Facebook, because I think it will just be better for our members and stuff. Sam, we're going to move the group.
Yeah, it's a bit more we can do on there. We just want to make sure it's set up properly before
Yes,
we move
we'll
everyone
do
over.
that.
So
Yeah,
we will be doing that. It is on the agenda.
yeah. Cool. You're welcome, Mitchell. Thanks for joining.
Thank you.
Yeah, so next month, as we mentioned, is the note taker webinar. The live webinar that Luke did yesterday on data protection will be uploaded this week to the members area. And yeah, as Sam said, any questions or feedback or anything, pop it in the Facebook group. We can answer, and then everyone can see. Anything to finish off with, Sam?
The only thing I mention is we're going to try and release the next sort of 6 months worth of content on a calendar in the next couple of weeks. So just watch out for that, just so you can understand what we're going to be doing.
Yeah.
But again, if there's anything people really want, I know people have mentioned marketing, which will be on the agenda.
Yeah.
But anything, any other specific areas that you would like to understand more about how you can use AI in your business, do let us know, because ultimately we're here to help you in your business. So if it's something that everyone goes, I really need this, we will go and look at that for you.
Yeah, 100%. And you're welcome, Jazz. Thank you for that. Yeah, so we'll see you guys next month, and excited to keep helping everyone with AI.
Excellent. Thanks, Jeri.
See you
Speak to you all soon.
later.
Bye.
Bye.